I live in a small, rural town in northern Minnesota. It is quiet, surrounded by endless fields and tree lines that stretch beyond what the eye can see. Most people here know each other, or at least recognize familiar vehicles passing by. Nothing truly strange ever happens around here until that night. I was 17, still living with my father on the outskirts of town. Our house sat along a long stretch of county road with no streetlights and only 2 other homes within a mile radius. After sunset, it gets pitch black out there, especially when the sky is overcast, which it often is that time of year. I had trouble sleeping most nights, not because of insomnia, but because of the silence. It is so silent out here, it is deafening. You can hear your own heartbeat in your ears when you lie in bed. Some nights, I would walk around the house or sit on the front steps, wrapped in a hoodie, staring into the dark while listening to crickets and distant coyotes. It had rained most of the afternoon. By dusk, the wind picked up, shaking trees and turning puddles into rippling shadows. My father had gone to visit a friend in the next town over, so I was alone. I was not nervous, just bored. At about 11:30, I decided to walk down the driveway to check the mailbox. It sounds pointless, I know, but I was restless and looking for an excuse to move. I grabbed the flashlight and slipped on my boots. The beam from the flashlight was not great, it flickered slightly if turned too fast. I walked slowly, the light sweeping over wet leaves and puddles. The wind had died by then. Everything felt weirdly still, like the world had paused. When I got to the end of the driveway, I noticed something odd. Across the road, in the ditch, there was a lump, a black, unmoving lump. At first, I thought it was a garbage bag or farm gear, but it was too symmetrical. It had limbs. It was a person, face down in the ditch. I froze. The beam of my flashlight landed on a man lying completely still in the wet grass. I thought he had been hit by a car. This stretch of road is perfect for that dark and deserted. I stepped onto the road, calling out, "Hey, are you okay?" No response. "Sir?" Nothing. I walked closer. The air felt colder, like walking into a freezer. That is when I noticed his clothes. They were dry. I walked closer. The air felt colder, like walking into a freezer. That is when I noticed his clothes. They were dry, bone dry. That stopped me in my tracks. Then he moved, just enough. A single, slow twitch of the hand. He was alive. Then he sat straight up in one motion, like a puppet yanked by invisible strings. And he looked right at me. The man's face was wrong. Not disfigured, just wrong. Like someone wearing a human face as a mask. The expression did not change. He stared at me, slack-jawed and unblinking. I took a step back and nearly slipped. The man slowly stood. He moved like his joints did not work right. His arms dangled. His eyes never left mine. That is when I ran. I sprinted down the driveway, flashlight bouncing, gravel slipping beneath me. I did not look back. I did not want to know if he was following. I reached the porch, slammed through the door, and locked it. I turned off every light and crouched in the living room, breathing hard. I waited for footsteps. I heard none. Minutes passed. I forced myself to peek through the curtain just an inch. He was standing at the end of the driveway, still, facing the house, unmoving. I backed away from the window. My heart pounded. I double-checked every lock. Then I sat on the floor until dawn, clutching the knife. I did not sleep. By morning, he was gone. I checked the yard. No footprints, no marks. No trace he had ever stood there. The ditch was empty. I did not tell my father. For days, I barely slept. I kept the blinds closed. Every time the wind blew, I swore I saw something shift in the shadows beyond the driveway. 2 weeks later, my father checked the game camera near the woods. He called me over, confused. There was an image of the same man, same face, same clothes, standing 10 feet from our back door. Just that was the last photo it ever took. We found the camera later that day, smashed to pieces, twisted metal and cracked plastic. Nothing else was touched. I never told my father the truth. I said someone was prowling around the property. He believed me. We installed more lights and more cameras, but we never caught another glimpse of the man, boy, looking out his bedroom window at night. Beyond the floodlight, a dark figure barely visible in the tree line, blurred by fog. No women. Yard is lit, but forest remains pitch black and still. I started asking around. Quietly, carefully. That is when I heard the name for the first time. The Ditchwalker. The old ones in town say he comes back when the rain starts. They say he died out there decades ago, struck by a logging truck during a foggy morning. But they never found the body. Only dry footprints leading into the trees, though it had been raining for hours. A retired deputy told me they found bones in the ditch once. No wallet, no identification. The sheriff told them to bury it quiet. No marker, no record. The grave is still there, I think. Deep in the trees. Locals say it is always dry. Even when it rains, no one goes near it. If you leave something personal on the grave, you will find it again on your porch. Wet. Someone once found a donation bag at the church. Jacket, boots, jeans, same exact outfit, folded neatly. But no one remembered who brought it. The boots still had red clay on them. We do not have red clay. Hunters say the game cameras glitch when he is near. One swears his picture showed more than just the man. Faces in the trees, half hidden, watching with him. He does not blink, he does not bleed, he does not step into the light. But if your lights flicker, he moves. Dogs will not bark, they just whine and hide. And no matter how muddy the ditch is, she rises clean. I do not walk to the mailbox at night anymore. I do not check the ditches. And when I hear wind scraping against the siding, I pray it is only the wind. That was my story. I do not know what he is or what he wants. Maybe no one does. All I know is he was there. He saw me. And sometimes I think he still does. If you are still listening, thank you. Stay alert. Stay in the light. And if you ever see someone lying face down in a ditch, keep walking. If this story made you look over your shoulder, like, share, subscribe. More stories are waiting, and not all of them end at the ditch.